By 2050, Nigeria will become the third largest country on earth. We will need to feed about 500 million people. And if people are not worried, I am worried, because a crisis in Nigeria could destabilize the entire Africa. Our goal is to ensure that doesn't happen. We're fixing street by street, community by community, local government by local government, and then eventually we get to the state level. My role and the role of members of my team, the fantastic people I've worked with over the past 2 years, is to get things done. What matters is things work in my community the way it works in yours. Nigeria, my country, faces 4 big challenges. The first one is malnutrition. UNICEF estimated that about 2 million Nigerian children were stunted, and only 400,000 of them get treated. The second challenge we face is energy poverty. Most farmers in our communities cannot irrigate in the dry season. The electricity is needed to pump water from boreholes that can irrigate farms. The third challenge for our community is overwhelming food loss. About 50% of the food that is grown in our region is wasted. And then the fourth, which complicates all of this preceding 3, is a broken culture. There's a culture in our community that only those who are impoverished farm. We're trying to change that. The FoodNerve vision is a vision to transform small communities in Sub-Saharan Africa into self-sustaining communities that can nourish themselves with safe, healthy meals from renewable sources. Most people in our communities do not have economic access to proteins. Most people end up eating diets that are heavily reliant on carbohydrates and whatever they can lay their hands on.
We seem to lack the protein in Nigeria, that much I can say. And that got me into the poultry industry. But any investor coming into Nigeria knows he has to provide his own energy.
For most farmers, the first step out of poverty is electricity. This facility will be extremely difficult to run if we did not have renewable energy mini-grid.
Energy-wise, the national grid is still not going to be the main supplier. Solar panels can do that.
Our idea for individual communities is to have 20, 30 solar panels so that farmers can pump water. So right here in this particular facility, we have what we call a grow space. Our farmers' irrigation in place, we have solar panels installed. We can pump water all year round. Now, for people in our communities, they can't access food because paper currency, the naira, is scarce. So one of the things we'll be testing in this community is a payment token that would make it possible for us to give out food grown on farms against tokens that people have earned by volunteering. Crops go to waste, so there is need for intelligent food distribution. The next stage for us is to build a distribution platform. So the general idea is to work at one end with restaurants and supermarkets to offset their surplus food, which they will otherwise throw away. The second part of the app interface is on community farms. Farmers who grow crops in their backyard can put up their surplus crops. And so people in the community can exchange tokens for surplus food so that we can go back to the old times in which nobody in the community is hungry. What most people do not understand in our communities is that government has a huge impact on our lives. And the policies that government makes would impact the conditions under which our children will grow, the kind of foods we eat, the kind of foods we can grow, how we distribute the food, and how we trade, the kind of markets that can be open.
There must be constant interaction between the government and the stakeholders to know what their challenges are.
A lot of times, people who make policy, they are far from the problem. And when they pass their policies, they don't see the first, second, and third order consequences of the policies they've passed. And so we set up a policy newsroom. We're recording small scoops, showing the effects policies in the past have on stakeholders, farmers, producers, market women today. So when policymakers make a policy, they can see the immediate effect within a year, 2 years of the policies they've made. And so you can figure a way to make it right. Your Excellency, Ma, thank you for making time out of your busy schedule to see us. We're here to start a couple of conversations. with your office, and we have a few questions to ask.
Thank you very much. If you look at Lagos State's slogan, Ajumashe means we join hands to do things together. Government, private, public sector, students, everybody's involved here.
We have a broken culture in which we have people who are highly educated, who are unemployed, who look down on blue-collar workers. And so we have to shape culture, because the average young person in Nigeria does not want to grow things.
I see a reluctance for the 20, 30-year-olds to move into farming.
One of the huge things that changes culture in Nigeria is music, videos, series, and other forms of entertainment. The idea is to use profits from globally distributed creative content to fund the technical and the engineering work that we need to do to bring light, proper nutrition, and food security to our local community. What you see here today is a dream of 1 million hearts that are praying for a much better tomorrow. By 2050, I envision a nation who are proud to feed and sustain their families. We have light bulbs in our facility that don't go off. They stay on to send the signal to the community that we are the light of the community. And the light has to stay on, and it has to keep shining bright and bright and bright.